Hey, what's up, Crypto Army? I'm Travis, your crypto newbie, bringing you my experiences so you have to learn things the hard way. Just a reminder, I'm not a financial advisor, and none of my content should be viewed as financial advice. So today we're going to talk about EverGrow Coin, and more specifically, Crator. But before we jump into that, so I'm going to have the team from Gallon Token on my channel this Saturday at 12 o'clock. And it's going to be exciting. I've never had anybody on my channel before. I've covered AMAs, but I've never actually interviewed a team on my channel. And that's going to be happening this weekend. And I really hope everybody comes to check it out because it's kind of exciting to me because it's my first interview. And hopefully I don't screw it up too badly since it is my first time doing an interview on my channel. But I'm really excited for the sneak peeks that the team is also going to be doing. And I think you're going to be really excited to see what this team has planned for 2022. Now that's pretty much everything I want to cover. Let's jump into EverGrow Coin. So as you can see, the price is not the best. Now this was all-time highs. Again, it was quite a while ago. It's shortly after launch. We had some all-time highs within a month or so. Here's right around the time that we were expected to see Crator, and it did. We did see Crator to some degree. They opened it up for the beta testing. Now, I think a lot of the community was expecting that it would actually launch, but at no time did they say that it was really going to launch right then. But there was a lot of buildup that indicated that the platform was pretty much ready. And the fact is it wasn't. Now, they also want to make sure that they're releasing a good product. So I understand where they're coming from. But there was a lot of hype about the product being ready. Same thing with the NFT marketplace, which we haven't seen either. And we haven't really heard that much about recently. But both products were said to be pretty much done back in October. So we're in January and we haven't really seen them. Now, we have seen some demos of it. Sam has released some videos on Twitter showing some of how it works, and we're going to cover a little bit of that on here as well today. But that's why we started to see this decline, because we're now in January. They said that they wanted to do the first AMA of 2022 on the system, and virtually nobody has access to the system. Now, they do have some beta testers out there that are using it. I'm not one of them. And I know a couple other content creators that aren't either, which is a little confusing because some of us have been around since the beginning of the project. And you would have expected they would have opened it up to those content creators that were kind of there from the beginning. And I know some of them probably have. I haven't seen any information come up from those YouTubers. So it's not entirely clear who has access at this point or the thought process they went into in selecting those individuals, because we haven't heard from the team. They haven't done an AMA because they want to use the system that nobody can access. So we're kind of stuck in this weird place where it kind of feels like they should do a Twitter Spaces, even though it's not necessarily what they wanted to do, just to help alleviate any concerns inside the community, because there's some other stuff going around as well. Todd Hart did a video yesterday, the day before, which summarized a lot of the weird stuff that's kind of going on in the community. And every community has that stuff happen. So don't try to dig so much into the FUD that's out there. Now, the launch of Crator is not necessarily FUD. It's just the reality of the situation on what they said versus the reality that we're currently experiencing. I can see why people are a little aggravated because they haven't launched the system and there's not really a lot of information out there about the system. And they said there was going to be. So there's a big gap between what they're saying and what we're seeing. Now, if we look at the number of holders, you can see that we're still growing, 131,000 addresses, which is always good. I compare this to Saitama. Now, Saitama had very similar growth, not quite as quick as what EverGrow Coin did, but they very quickly got into the 200,000-300,000 people holding it. And I think EverGrow Coin has the potential to follow that same track. I actually think EverGrow Coin could have as many holders as SafeMoon over time, but we're not quite there yet. So what does Crator look like? Here's an image of their mobile interface. And again, it doesn't go too much deeper into it, just beyond this is what it would boot up to on your mobile device. And it looks good. And you can see the new logo. I got to admit, I actually liked the logo better before. I'm not a big person for hearts. I don't know how that fits into the greater context of Crator as a system. You know, if I think about Crator and what we've talked about it being a competition for, whether it's a competition for YouTube or it's a competition for OnlyFans, neither one of those two platforms makes me think of hearts. So I kind of like the design better before. I'm not so sure why we keep switching the design of the logo. I just I know that it matters. I know they want to get the branding right because we are really, really early into the design of this system along with the entire project as a whole. So I understand why they want to get it right. I'm just not so sure that this is the right one, but I also don't think that we need to keep changing the logo 18 different times. I just would have preferred the previous version over this one. Now here's one of the previous designs, and you can see here's one example of the logo, just to kind of illustrate how we've changed a couple different times. But you can kind of see what the interface looks like here, and it looks good. Again, I'm more about the usability. I need to get in there and actually play around with the system to see what are the issues with the actual usage. I'm less concerned about the interface that everybody else sees. My guess is they'll continually update this as they go, as long as it's got the features that most people are looking for, and you can't really see that by looking at a picture. You need to actually play with the system. And that's the problem most of us have, is we can't use the system yet. And we thought we would be able to by now. But I like the design. I like the design on the previous version. So here's the dark mode version. And there's been some complaints about you can't see the colors. I don't have a problem seeing the colors. I guess people had problems seeing this particular color on the black. From my perspective, I don't see any issues with it. I think we're kind of getting into the weeds. We really just need to launch the system so we can start using it. As long as there aren't any serious issues with the usage of the system, I don't think people are going to complain as much, and they can do iterative updates over time to fix anything that does pop up. As long as it's a usable system, the color scheme, come out with multiple color schemes. Let people pick a color scheme. That way you can get on with other stuff. I like this. I don't have a problem with this. As long as it records okay when I do my videos, I'm probably not going to care. But if you give me other options, maybe those will work better for recording. I'm not sure. But I think we need to get a usable system launched. And right now, it looks like it's good enough. But again, until people are actually using it, and I don't know how many usability issues there are in the system. Maybe there's a whole bunch of them. Maybe that's why they're delaying the launch. I don't know. They're not talking to us, so it's kind of hard to know what's going on. Now, they do have this video on YouTube, so you can kind of see it a little bit here. But it looks like it was shot with a phone, maybe. If you're going to release examples of what it's going to look like, it doesn't have to be professional. You've got content creators you've supposedly enlisted to beta test this. Have a couple of them produce short clips and put them on Twitter, or send them to you, or have them put them on their YouTube channel. I thought that was kind of the benefit of using the YouTubers as beta testers, is you could do those things. So I'm a little confused about this video. I appreciate being able to see the video and see kind of how the system looks, but I think you could do a little bit better job on advertising it to the people that are waiting for it. This is not necessarily what I was expecting from EverGrow Coin, especially if there are content creators that have access to the system right now. They can do a better job. Let them. In the big scheme of things, I don't really care about any of this stuff. The fundamentals of the project have not changed. But as Todd Hart indicated in his video update, and he's right, people have options. If they see that EverGrow Coin is kind of doing the same thing that SafeMoon did for months and months and is continuing to do, about talking about a release that you never actually see, you're going to encourage people to jump ship and go find other projects that are potentially have a better return on your investment. And there are other options out there. Now, I never encourage anybody to sell. Again, I'm more of a 5 to 8 year investment person, so I'm not going to sell out of EverGrow Coin anytime soon because the fundamentals haven't changed. But there are people that switch all the time and you're losing them. And maybe that's okay. Again, it's your project. You can run it how you want to. I just think that you've got a product that you could probably release, and you seem to be waiting for perfect. And I think we all know perfect is the enemy of good. As long as it's a usable product, it's probably good enough for release. But again, I'm not on the team. I'm just looking at the video and I'm looking at the images and I'm hearing what you're saying. It sounds like you've got a usable product, at least a minimum viable product, plus a couple extra things probably already included. It's probably time to release and move on and do the iterative approach to fix the rest of the issues. As long as it's not an epic fail, the community's probably going to understand, or at least start getting some content creators to release content for it. I thought that was the idea. That's all I wanted to cover in today's video. Hopefully you found the content helpful. Let me know in the comments. What do you think the team should do about Crator? Release it or continue to refine it until it's perfect? Until next time, stay strong with those diamond hands.